Convention of the United Nations. So we cannot use in research, we cannot use for poor children. That is discrimination. So therefore, we're going to use the term endorsed by United Nations less privileged children. Where are they located? What are their situatedness? Just the context, whole state zone of Makassar. Okay, now let's see a few slides on this. Okay, when we look at this, RT is looking at this home scrutiny as a place for which that is a part of their life, of the children's daily activity. So from the home, usually home in research of child-friendly environment, home is the first place. The second place is school, right? So for RT, she would like to look at whether the streets, that is the journey from home to school, is it the third place? She found it is. I'm going to describe it soon. So therefore, in order to do this, we need to hinge this research on what do the streets meaning to them. So the streets actually construct children's identity. These are middle childhood children from 7 to 12 years old. From 7 to 12 years old. They walk to school because they cannot afford to have car or motorcycle to send them to school, to cut them to school. So they have to walk to school. Apparently, it is benefiting them. Apparently, it benefits them. All right? So the streets become a third place whereby they are able to socialize. I'm going to show it in the slides soon. So therefore, they socialize with who? Not just friends. These friends are their buddies. These friends are their buddies. Okay. This term buddies actually is been used in research since 1990s by Roger Hart and many other, Gary Moore, for which that buddies is more meaningful than friends. Buddies to the children is more meaningful to their siblings. Next slide. All right. I like to bring the attention when we do research in looking at children's outdoor environment, engagement with the environment. It's used that we hinge theory. Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yes, bro.
Okay.
That's good.
So we're going to hinge it into the theoretical for which that children, when they engage outside, they engage in functional, constructive, social dramatic, and games with rules. This theory is not new. It's been done as late as in 1980s, 40 years ago. So when we do research, we need to hinge or we need to track our research on certain theory. So RT look at this. So when she look at when children move, run, walk, climb the steps, she is looking at the functional play, all right? But then when they see things, loose parts such as sticks, stones, they assemble it and due to curiosity, they assemble it and become a constructive play. When they climb steps, they go to a bank, perceive that I am a bank manager. That is called social dramatic play. Children want this, right? But if you were to allow them only to play in the playground, that playground cannot allow all these things to happen, right? Because why? Playground is being built by us. It's designed by adults, not in the perception of children. Perception of children is put aside. Then they also, when they play together, they design, they construct, they make their own rules. This is important in terms of children learning to call social skills. So this social skill, social play is essential for children. Therefore, if you allow children to create their own space, their own place, these 4 types of engagement will be available. Next. All right. Now let's look the real thing what Aki has done. Look at the boy that jumped over a puddle. So therefore, when he jumped over a puddle, therefore he knows what is the dimension, the length of the puddle, how much strength that he has to jump so that he will not get his feet wet. This is a functional play as well as constructive play, right? Then when this less privileged children boy like to go back to school, going to the school, he has to climb a ladder. He doesn't, that means that a variety of route that he has to follow. Not happen when a children is being put into a car, into a bus, sent to school. They know nuts about what's going around the environment. Here, this less privileged children in old citizen of Makassar has to know each and every inch of their journey. There is a strong observation, strong performatory functions. On the way back from school, Hakim, example here, he do not go straight back to school or to the home because why? He detour. He would like to go to his favorite place. Where is his favorite place? A gerobak along the way from his school to his home. The gerobak is his favorite place. Why? There is a place where he meet with his buddies. Who is his buddies? His school friends. But buddies, when he buy a food, let's say the food being sold here, 1,000 rupiah, right? And he share it willingly, sometimes unconsciously. There is a buddy. This buddy is so strong that if the mother asks Takim, why you come late? Say that I visited my friend at a place. Where is the place? He will not reveal to the mother, the gerobak. He said that it's my place. Where is it, Hakim? It's my place. The reason is that favorite place actually returned to a secret place. So in the definitions of research on children's environment, particularly in research of educations and environmental psychology, secret place is a place where mother, father do not know what is it. Who knows it? It's only defined by Hakim and his buddies. So if you look at the theory of this is a strong social skill attained by Hakim. Therefore, the gerobak, the homeschool journey from home to school, school to home, is his favorite place. It is his place, a children's place. Aha. So this is what research is. From the empirical findings of Arti Manikam, able to recognize that homeschool journey actually is a third place for Hakim. Next. All right. So example here, he able to stop by a while, check with his friends, look at the chicken, feed the chicks. Okay, next. Yeah. Play with his friend, play a boy. Okay. These are where they set their own rules in play. It's not set when the children play badminton or when children play tennis. This play is set by the rule, and their language may not be understood by the parents. That is their children's place. So the payment is their place. It's not place for children. It's children's place. Next. Okay. Now I'd like to extend another research by my student, Sarah Noor Azlan. This is about how children understand ecology, meaning that why does jumping spider doesn't have a web? Why does, when there is a banana tree, usually under the banana tree in the ground there are earthworms? Why this association happens? This is where ecology literacy comes into play. All right, next. All right. If you look on the left, which is structured designed by architects, landscape architects, is static, means sameness, right? But you look on the right, is a tree, here we call pokok manggis, and also pokok rambai, here, Lancium, okay, Bucaria. So they see that the tree become their play tools. They can climb up with their friends, copy their friends how to climb. That is called assimilations. Then they are able to even build their own huts on top of the tree. That is called accommodations. So all these are research done in education, early childhood education, and we bring it into landscape architecture or into architecture or urban planning. Okay, the trees is not the same. Next year when it blooms and bear fruits will different from this year because nature is so diverse. Whereas instruments, equipment made by people are the same. It's like Lego, it's all the same. But if you were to bring children to a beach later on and show you a slide, children can see, understand the size of the grains of sand, why certain is fine, certain is coarse. So they define fine and coarse with their actions, their direct experience. But in school, we define by learning how to spell fine, how to spell coarse. That is not learning to children. They should feel with their hands, with the senses. Here is all about feel only with the mind. Here, we need to bring children feel with the body. Next. All right. So therefore, a place, you see the one on the right, children are fishing at one small streams in a pineapple farm. So place is the result of experience. So these children, their action change the pineapple as a space with dimensions into a place through what? Through their experience, through their action. This action involves fishing, which is a physical action, but fishing with who? With a body, with a friend. That is social. So now socialization plus functional physical function combine and turn the space into a place. This is what we're missing when we design place for children in urban. We thought that it's good for children. Sometimes no. This is the reason why I've seen, at least in Malaysia, nice play equipment in an expensive neighborhood, and children use it for the first 6 months. After that, the place is being left out. Because why? It's the same. You cannot change it. But here, you can change it. You can dig the ground. You can scoop the mud in the water. You can feel the muddiness, the milkiness of the water. You can feel the different sands with mud, sands with silt. This is what our children in urban are lacking of. So this research on the ecological suggests that what children would like to do. Okay, from that, place is where they live. Aha, they're where they construct things. They build that fishing rod themselves. They interpret why does this tree is easy to climb because of the branch structure. Why does durian tree is more difficult to climb? They conceive, then leads them to imaginations. Imagination leads to them to be more curious later on. Leads them to be constructive in their work later on, or in their action later on. Okay. Therefore, through through ecological literacy, we found that the open outdoor actually is an open-ended laboratory for children. They do their own experiment. With who? With their bodies. Yeah? Yeah. And it's a way that in which that they set their own boundary. They set their own sense of control. Not in the classroom. The classroom is controlled. In the school is controlled by the teacher. At home is controlled by the parents. But here, who control it? Themselves. Alright? Therefore, the rural landscape here, at least in this picture, is an extension of children to develop their literacy of the ecosystem. Both physically, socially, and connectively. All right, these are more examples. I think you understand this much. All right. They even have their own word for which that parents do not knew about it, called kalbat. This is defined by them. They create their own language. This is progressive children's development. Next. All right. Now it's a bit more structured, for which that we look at how children engage themselves in urban farming. Next. Okay. This is a research by my student Mega Surya, for which they are looking at how children from urban know nuts about rural environment. She bring it here, right? So in order to do that, she hooked her research into one definition called affordances. Affordances are the physical properties of the environment. Example, that little girl looked at a coconut. To us, it's a coconut for which that we're going to cut it and we get the milk of the coconut. To her, it's no. To her can be a football, or to her can be a bowling ball that she can roll onto the ground. Next. Therefore, understanding the outdoor environment, Mega bring it how children recognize, explore themselves, and think about how to do planting in the farming. So farming itself become an activity to initiate children curiosity, to initiate children exploration, and later on leading to discovery. That discover that why certain plant it takes time for it to grow and bear flowers, and the flowers takes time to turn into a fruit, and the fruit take time it turn into a ripened fruit matang, right? Next. All right. So this is the last author that of my student that I'm going to describe. She has two research. One during her S2, there is affordance of everyday landscape. So when we talk to an architect or landscape architect, quickly they thought about playground. But to this research by Janaton, Yusuf, actually the everyday landscape is a playground for children. You do not need to install slides, swings, seesaw, climbing structures. We have bought from Germany and brought it here. No, there are already climbing structures in their home environment. This is a low-cost neighborhood where many of the low-cost income people stays, but the vibrancy of the neighborhood is rich. Why? Because the parents let then the children discover their own environment. So the trees become their play tools, the flowers become place for them to make garlands, okay? And they can recognize the rambutan tree when the fruit is green, you cannot eat it. You need to wait when it turns red. So they differentiate between green fruits and ripened fruits. They differentiate it through their own actions, not in schools. Next. All right, here example. So what we did as place for children, we finalize everything. We create sameness, no diversity. It's all modern training. We determine how far they have to play with. We set their own boundary. There's no sense of control. Next. But for children at this low-cost housing, they determine their own boundary of play. Why? Because they have sense of control. They make their own rules, okay, in their play. They create their own fishing rod to get fish from the ditch. They find fresh water fish, fresh squid, prawns, udang, yeah, and name it because there are more than one species. They discover it. This discovery is things that leading their creativity, right? That means that there's no template, there's no standard that what they learn in school. Here they create their own knowledge. Why? Because the environment has a lot of tools for them to play. Who recognize the tool? Not the adults. Children. This is children's place. This is children's place. Next. Okay. I have two more slides here. Here is a PhD research by Janaton. Instead of looking in the urban Shimbu to an island called Pulau Bumbun in Semporna Sabah, across it of course Sulawesi, right? So this island is the children of Bajo Obiang. You call Bajo. Okay, let me use the word Bajo. All right. But looking at this, because for a PhD thesis, you need to have empirical research. So she applied more than 4 methods to elicit how children's engagement. So in order to elicit it, she followed the methods called phenomenological, meaning that actions being done and you elicit while playing with children. So on the right, the children's able to identify 6 species of starfish in your own Bajo words. Yes, 6 species. Yeah, that is incredible. They just search it, they dive into the clear water and bring it up and play with it. So starfishes are their play tools. They recognize how it moves slowly. They recognize why there are 5 fingers. Where are the mouth? This cannot be done if you just see a picture of the starfish, because it's 2 dimension. Here they see it holistically. Not only the starfish, where the starfish live, the niche of the starfish. This is called experiential learning. This is called experiential learning. Then when they play on the deck, they're able to create their own set of rules. So to us, it's just a space. No, to them, it's our place. Why our? In order to change the space into a play space for them, they need friends. That means our, not me, not mine. So therefore, they understand between what's meant by social play, social skills. So this is a research, right? So I'd like to show this one example of empirical evidence by Janatun. Here she locate using a system here. I do not understand much of the tool that she used. I think she used it part using GIS and so forth. But she identified the red are the one that children's play according to the tide. When the tide comes, they come back to the house. So the blue is the one that is less frequent play, if I understand it. But when the tides come, they have to quickly come back to the house. Whereby near the red ones near to the house, they can stay on deck. So their play is being influenced by what? By the tide. So therefore, this is such to me it's such a unique, because why they notice that the climatic factors determine their play actions, their socializations. You cannot do this if the children sense to play in a Legoland or in a mall. No, they don't notice the weather. They notice day and night. They don't notice the tide. But here they notice the tide. The tide becomes part of the play tools. Next. Okay, this is the last slide. So during low tide, they can play with that. They go and find mussels. They identify species of mussels in Baja Obian world. During the high tide, they jump from the roof, from windows. They jump higher. The higher the tide, the better it is. They collect starfish. Yeah, they go and find fish, shrimps. But at night, now it changed. The play during the day no more exists. It changed. So the night shift, the play also changed. And they can see squid, chumi, they even can see turtles. So this research, if we do not do research according to a proper methodology, we cannot elicit this. These are empirical things. And we cannot do this if you use survey questionnaire. Jonathan has stayed with them for 5 weeks. Every movement recorded. Every movement is noted. This is research. So the C is the children place for the children of Bajo Obian in Sampurna, Sabah. Okay, I'd like to summarize here. So therefore, what are the attributes of children's place that children see? It's a place where they have sense of control. They know what to do next. It's a place where they set their own boundary of play, not by their parents. It's a place where initiate curiosity, let them explore, eventually discover that jumping spider are a spider without web, small, non-poisonous. It's a place where they can identify their friends as their buddies, in which that they turn a favorite place into a secret place. It's a place, it's outdoor there, it's a place for direct engagement, experiential learning. Why? It's so diverse, it's endless. But the place that created by architects, landscape architect, is limited, has limitations. Okay, it's about sameness, it's about less diversity. Thank you guys for listening. I hope that you learn from this research by my students. Hopefully those who like to do PhD, go ahead and look at children's child-friendly environment as one of your topic. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ismail. What time do you have for today, Prof. Ismail?
I still have another half an hour.
Half hours.
Audience, I could not stay with you long. I have another half an hour because after this I have to chair a PhD Viva soon at this place too. There's one candidate is ending his exam.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So we are continue for the question and answer, and before that, Bapak Ibu sekalian, so I will use the bilingual also here, Prof. Bapak Ibu sekalian, silakan jika ada pertanyaan bisa memasukkan di kolom chat atau bisa bertanya langsung dengan cara raise hand di kolom WA group. Dan ya, salam buat Pak Hari dari Trisakti Jakarta, ada Ibu Ari Widiati dari UMJ, Pak Lidi alumnus UNS yang sekarang ada di UNSA. Selamat pagi Pak gitu. Jika ada pertanyaan silakan aja untuk raise hand. Dan hari ini ya Prof Ismail memang expert di children's research ya, untuk environment children research. So Prof, before the question from participant, I would like to ask you the questions Prof, from me.
Okay.
From all the case study in Indonesia and Malaysia, do you find something uniqueness between them? Is it because the culture, or it is because we are in the Asian, so it's the result is gonna be the same? What do you think about this, Prof?
That is an excellent question. The reason is this, that many of us we hook our research, the framework from literature from the Western scholars. To me, that's the thing that we need to deviate a bit, right? So you can use that as theoretical framework, but open your mind so that you can invite new things. You create new things. Okay, let me give you an example. In the research of children of Bajo Obiang, for which that initially Jonathan looked at home range, because when children play, they have their set of range. That is the research done by many Western scholars, especially in Norway, Finland, Sweden, Denmark. But those research are done by people, the contexts are urban. They have the range. When you are 5 to 6 years old, your range is small. Then when you become 10 and 12, your range is much further from the house. Apparently, what Jonathan found in the Bajo Obiang, they do not have home range. Yeah, so when there's a home range, the home range actually, because everybody know each other. Yeah, they are so related to each other. Therefore, their parents are not afraid whom the children will play, how far they play from the house, at low tide and at high tide. Okay. Because they are learning from each other, we call assimilations, and accommodation are so rich. So therefore, what I see from research of my student in Indonesia, actually it's the same. So, but we, because we are from a culture whereby we already moved from rural to urban, therefore, much of the urban children are not knowing what's happening, what they're missing. So we as adults, it's our task to bring them back. Example, if you bring your children to steps on the beach, okay, at the edge of the water, the children will feel the sand is firm. As they go away from the water up to the bank of the sand, the bank is loose, it's dry. Therefore, their feet sinks to the ground. That is learning. Why? Because there's no more water to bind the grains of sand. We teach our children to learn this, not through books. Later on, that's why children in Japan, they only attend exam after the age of 10. Us, no, even kindergarten have exam. That's a problem with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Interesting, because you have such a various of study case in the coastal, in the rural, in the kampung, urban kampung, in the urban city, and also the theme of ecological. Okay, for the students, have a please. If you have a question, please let's discuss here. Adakah pertanyaan dari para students di sini? Ini tapi juga dibuka buat umum, Pak Hari Wahyono, Pak Ari, monggo jika ada pertanyaan. Bapak Ibu sekalian untuk bisa bertanya. Pak Lidi mungkin, silakan Pak Lidi. Masih di-mute, Pak.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Prof. Ismail. I will ask about what is the more important what is the more important about the facility of children special or the general in contact integrated. There is children and their orang tua, their
Parents.
Yes. Because I see, yeah, I saw that the children is need their orang tua, yeah, because they need them. So we must, if we will give the design children please, so we must to give the place for their orang tua itu, ya, gitu Pak, ya.
I couldn't
Please,
understand
I
couldn't understand your question much, but what I've been perceiving is that your idea is that how am I going to raise my children according to what I think as a parent, right? Well, that's your right. Okay, but that question sounds that you are a person under place for children mentality. So I think you need to allow your children to create their own way. Don't follow his path all the way. This is happening in many modern parents. Example, when modern parents like their children to learn swimming, they bring to the swimming pool. They don't bring to the river. What's different? Way different. If you ask children, the swimming pool doesn't has current. The water is not moving. But in the river, the Kali, the water is moving. Yes, I can grab sands and grab stones, not in the swimming pool. So be more open to your children. That's my advice. Okay, but to do research on children, you need to do a thorough, rigorous literature. Then only you can come to, because research on children come in at least 5 disciplines, at least. Architecture, urban planning, urban sociology, early education, cognitive reasoning, right? What else? Many. So therefore, you need to go across discipline. Do not hook yourself to architecture. You will never get it, because we architects, we are lazy to make concepts. We are lazy to mix. We are not good enough to make a theory. Go and look from environmental psychology, social behavior studies, and you see that what we have done actually for children designed for like this, actually you are just looking at place for children. It's not the children place. Okay, can I give you one example here?
Yes, because I see the place of children, they need the privacy. They need the privacy too, because for the kemandirian or the
Yes.
self-evidence, the children, because if the control of the parent is very tightly, is very tightly, is they will not have the self-evidence. This is
Privacy,
Professor.
Pak, actually you go and look privacy under the literature of the Oriental. We are Oriental, right? From China, Korea, Vietnam, Thai, Indonesia, you see privacy is little. The one that this privacy is created by the Western to bring to us. You got to check that first in the literature. If then you can see that why our meaning of privacy is way different from Westerns. Yes, children need privacy too. Yes, but with the bodies, there's no privacy. That's why, but they do keep secret. That's why I bring the word secret place. They do keep secret from the parents because why? They want that place only known by them. Okay, let me give you an example here. There's one research, I mentioned this many times to my audience. In Sweden, this is about 7-8 years ago. Oh, no, 2005, 15 years ago. I met these two researchers who study on children, on schools in Sweden. They found that schools in 70s, 60s, 70s, whereby the people that learn in that school, they are so attached to the school. But those who are learning in the 80s and 90s do not less attachment to the school. Why? The previous one, they do have corridors. After that, they all have atrium schools. The corridors is their favorite and secret place. They remember the school because they can establish secret and favorite place. When atrium, they cannot do that anymore. Therefore, the attachment to the school is less. So what do the research did to the country? They tabulate the research in the parliament. The parliament decide that bring back the schools with corridor to the environment of children learning in the school system in Finland, in Sweden. That is where the research on people and place relationship. So therefore, if you like to argue on it, it's good to debate, but debate with facts, no debate about what you have seen. Because in research, we are leading to the truth, but truths are the synthesizing of facts. You understand? You need to do this. If not, then you are like another architect who do not do research, and you just say, what I see, I think this is fit for children. That is wrong. Yeah, that's not for children. Don't take for granted what children needs because you were children before.
Yes, I think, Prof. Yes, I think the children or the place of children is need the policy too. Policy, like the Professor said. Thanks for your explanation.
Thank you, Pak Lidi, for your question. And Prof, we have several questions in the chat group, Zoom group chat. First is coming from Ibu Musyawaro. She is a lecturer of Department of Architecture. She would like to ask you, Prof. Ismail, how to control the safety of place for children in the environment? That's one question. The other question coming from Ibu Ari Widyati dari University Muhammadiyah Jakarta. Prof. Ismail, since the experience of places are different from one children to another and also depend on the preference of place, is there any particular place that become the most significant or maybe the most favorite among children according to your research? So I think that's the question number 2. Maybe you can answer first and then we are coming
Okay, the number one is on how to control safety. Go and ask your children.
Yep.
When RT looked at children that walk to school in the city, old city of Makassar, she thought that safety was the main concern. To the student, no. They like to chase cars rather than they are afraid of cars. I'm not kidding, this is what happened. So therefore, don't take for granted what we see. Safety is what the children say. So do the research on it.
Okay.
So is the experience placed between one child to another? Yes, of course. But some children like to engage themselves, let's say swimming into rivers. Some like to climb trees. But they keep on changing because they see the environment out there is so dynamic. But when we place just playground, the dynamism of it is limited. So this is okay. I should like to show to you one example here. There's one research this done about 17 years ago by Chatterjee, the research at University of Arizona. So Chatterjee looked at children in slum of New Delhi. She thought that not much of a place where children can create in slum. She found the opposite. Children create many secret places in slum. Why? They define their own. If we like to define it, that's it. We see it so limited. But let the children have their own sense of control, they define their own. So you write what they define, not that what you think it should be. That is a research. So therefore, I think if you look at the Commission of Children's Rights to Play, Article number 32, I think this justifies my point that we allow the children to define their own play and their own place.
Okay, then we're coming with the next question. It's coming from Yudi. Hi, Prof. I have a question about children in modern days, and is there any different approach or treatment in terms of place design, and what kind of approach? Because today's children have got different social behavior compared to the children in the old days, and as we know, today's children are very close to the gadget technology and everything, such as like that.
Well, one of the answers to start with, let them play outside so they are not so hooked to the gadget. Now the gadget is 6 hours a day, right? So let them let them go and discover. Okay, let me tell you this one example. You know the flower of cucumber?
Yes.
The flower of cucumber is yellow. When does it blooms? It blooms before you wake up.
I see.
So who pollinate the flower? Bees. So the bees have to wake up before you wake up so that they can get nectar from that flower, and they have to find it. Let your children see the action between bees and the flower. Ask them why it's like this. Don't ever to get immediate answer. Let them give you answer 4 years later. That is what it is. That is what teaching is. Yeah, I practice it to my children. It works very well. So do not hook themselves to get numbers in grading. Let them learn by themselves. Okay, that is why if you are in many Scandinavian countries, example Denmark, Finland, they only have one exam in their life before enter university. Before that, they doesn't have exams. If they want to take exam, they can do it, but they not will be graded. Here in Indonesia, Malaysia, we are all exam oriented. We all like to see numbers, not intelligence of children.
It is, yeah. Okay, that's encouraged a lot. And then the another question is coming from Pak Hari Wahyono from University of Trisakti Jakarta. Good morning and thank you, Prof. Ismail, for your presentation. I'm Hari Wahyono. Would like to ask about the different relationship between inner city and periphery city in terms of children's, children, place, and identity. What do you think about
I couldn't answer this because I do not know what's the definition of inner city in Indonesia compared to the peripheral. But in my context here, we wish that I'm living in the middle of the city, but my neighborhood are full with trees. So I believe that I can call it an urban kampung at my place because we can plant our own thing. Our garden is not designated by the developers. We designate ourselves. So I'm sorry, I could not answer that question well.
Prof, is it okay, Prof? Is it okay, Pak Hari Wahyono? Okay, yeah. Maybe one question from me, Prof. According all this research, what you can suggest going to the in the government, in the policy, particularly for the place and identity relationship in urban area, because nowadays in Surakarta city, like Palidi, my kampung is leading the Kampung Ramah Anak. There are many many like the competitions coming from the governments going to the our urban kampung or kelurahan district gitu ya, sub-district, to give the awards for, yeah, you have doing well in this environment, such as like that. What do you think about this, Prof? What we can bring going to the policy and
First, in academic, of course, one contribution that we like to do is because of making giving policy good. But policy should not be treated as static. It evolves. And this evolution should be adhered to the children's dynamism with the environment. We cannot say that the children of now can be applied in the next 10 years. I think that's not appropriate because children change. So therefore, we have to follow the evolution of change of engagement with the outdoor environment. But to bring them to the outdoor environment is a must. Children cannot learn alone. They are social beings.
And do you agree for the awards kind like this for the children's safe place in the one neighborhood?
Yes. So that's the thing. They like to have numbers, right? Awards here and there, but it's not meaningful to children. But what we want that our children to learn through their experience, that is a must. If you can have an index of experience learning, that can be a good way. But to develop it, it takes time. It takes a lot of research, I think, to come with that. Policymakers, especially politicians, like to have quick things to come up with ideas, right? So that they contribute to society. Don't follow their footsteps. In education, it takes time to develop people's behavior. Students' behavior, we need to move slowly, right? There's no jumping.
Okay, thank you very much for your insight, Prof. Well, yeah, I would like to give one more give to all the audience to one more questions. Is there any? Ada yang mau bertanya lagi? Satu kesempatan lagi kami berikan sebelum kami menutup di sesi pembicara pertama. Adakah dari student? Baiklah, kalau tidak ada karena juga waktu, kita akan beralih ke narasumber keduanya. Okay, Prof. Ismail, I think your session is enough well. Thank you very much for your insight and your attending in our lectures. We will see you soon again in the next semesters, and we hope all the participants here can join. Thank you very much, Prof. See you again.
Thank you, Ibu Dr. Ruli and Ibu Evi for your honor. I have to go now because I have to attend a Viva session, a PhD Viva session shortly. So excuse me for this, maaf ya. Inshallah, we can. I hope that we can meet you all in Surakarta. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Prof. Ismail.
Thank you.
Terima kasih, Prof.
And now sekarang kita akan beralih kepada narasumber kedua. Beliau adalah Dr. Untung Joko Cahyono yang beberapa tahun baru lulus dari Universitas Diponegoro untuk menyelesaikan studi S3-nya. Dalam hal ini beliau sangat expert di urban heritage. Oleh karena itu, Pak Dr. Untung Joko Cahyono yang juga sekaligus Kepala Program Studi Arsitektur UNS periode ini bisa memberikan bisa mempresentasikan presentasinya. Waktu dan tempat kami persilahkan. Silahkan Pak Untung.
Terima kasih Bu Ruli. Baiklah Bapak Ibu sekalian dan adik-adik ya, terima kasih atas kesempatan yang diberikan untuk saya mempresentasikan hasil dari studi saya di riset di Laweyan ya. Mungkin langsung saja saya akan sampaikan share screen. Ya. Oke, sudah kelihatan Bu Ruli?
Sampun Pak, siap.
Oke, thank you everyone. I would like to present my research in Laweyan about a Javanese house or Omah Jawi. Yeah. This is a term, mimicry, that is maintaining and developing actually. So this is an old Javanese term of bahasa Sanskerta. Yeah. So let's come to our topic today, maintaining and developing family heritage house in Laweyan, Solo. Yes, we talk about Laweyan. Laweyan is the kampung of batik entrepreneurs. It is a historic kampung. Laweyan is already existed before Keraton Surakarta. So maybe the story of Laweyan is related with Javanese culture, Hindu, Islam, and modern. So if we know about Laweyan, mostly people know about the kampung here, but actually Laweyan is also about a district or kecamatan. Yes, if we see the location on the map of Surakarta, Laweyan is here. The kampung Laweyan is here, but the development on the growth of of the kampung is moved to the north, the west, and the east. So in this study, I do research and observe in depthly in almost the three sub-district. That is the Kelurahan Laweyan, Kelurahan Bumi, and Kelurahan Sondakan. That's actually they are the kampung batik. So in this case, the Laweyan is the area is almost the part of Solo City in west part. So historically, Laweyan is as a have a bandar, or if we see the pelayaran, yes, about goods and farming product is following the aliran Bengawan Solo. So the Laweyan is already existed long before the Surakarta, the Keraton Surakarta. So now we look at a little bit about the Wang Laweyan or the Laweyanis. The Laweyanis is the ordinary Javanese people. They are noble family. So they come from around the Surakarta, like Sukoharjo, Klaten, Purwodadi, and so on. So they come to Laweyan as an urbanist. So they come from rural area and come to the city to do work and berusaha or make something they can make and then sold. So if we look at the Laweyan is the creative entrepreneurs. So we know that the Laweyan is they have a lot of production in relation with batik. So before the Laweyan is making original batik or batik tulis, but after they found the batik stem with stem or printing, they can make a lot of money from that. So besides they make the product of batik, they also sell or as pedagang. So that's why they get a lot of money from this, and they can make their house become bigger and modern. So this is the people of Laoyan. They start from worker, and maybe they can also become the owner of the juragan. So this why they are very the hard worker. So about their house, actually the Laoyan people before before the modern or the colonial, yes, or the European influence, the style of the Laoyan house, actually the Javanese house already changed or transformed to the modern, like they use brick. The brick is already exists in the Majapahit era, so the brick is not influence from the Europe. So this is the very old house in Laoyan that we can see. This is a vernacular. They made from timber frame, but the wall is already replaced by the brick wall. So, but the room configuration is the same with the old house, the old Javanese house. So if we can see the picture, actually the Javanese house is consists of the main house and the additional house. In the rural area, maybe we can see already the main house, that is the pendopo and dalam. So in if the family rich enough, they will they would add additional house for another activities like working or making batik or doing handcraft and so on. So in Laoyan, the development or the growth of the house building is very fast, especially after the batik booming in around in the beginning of the 20th century. So the house in Laoyan, if we can see, is consists of the workers' house and the juragan house. Yeah. The workers' house is like ordinary rumah, yeah, in kampung, but they replace the outer wall with the brick wall. So for the juragan, they built their house in the beteng or in the wall fence. Yeah. So we cannot see the house because they covered by the wall. It's only a few opening from for entrance. Now we can see about the growth on the development of a Javanese house in Laoyan. So if you can see, the Kampung Laoyan is already growth to the north, to the east, and to the west in the Solo city. Many building, many house, many public buildings, especially for a school built by the Laoyanese, to especially they dominate in part the west part of Surakarta. So if you can see the Kampung Lawian, we see that this is the Keraton Surakarta, and this is the Jalan Rajiman. This means the main on the cultural corridor in Surakarta. This is Keraton Surakarta, and this is Pajang. So we can see that when the king of Raja Keraton Surakarta go to the Kartosuro to Surakarta, this past the Kampung Lawian. So we can see that the Lawian is also as a center of the development of Javanese house. And in Surakarta, the house is strictly in the Beteng. So the development of the architecture or the building in Surakarta is mostly influenced by the colonial style. So now we can see that in the west of Surakarta, Lawian, in Lawian, there are a lot of public building built by the Lawianis, especially in school building, start from the junior high school, senior high school, and also the university. So they call it the school batik. So SMP, SMA batik, SMK batik, and the University of Batik or Universitas Islam Batik. So actually, the arrangement of the school building is not far from the traditional Javanese configuration. So if you can see, there is a main building and additional building. Now we can move to the more close to the kampung. We can see that the environment of the Lawian is characterized by the small gang or small street, but also in the main street, Dr. Rajiman, and also Jalan Slamet Riyadi, we can see the kampung is closed by a wall and just the gang or the small street in the kampung. So yeah, we can see the streetscape in Purwosari. Yeah, there is a gate to welcome gate to the Lawian area or the kampung Batik Lawian. So let's go to the study. Yes. Now, yeah, this is my study in Lawian about the family house. That they call it the heritage house, because the house is actually built by generation. In Lawian, there are many generations that I can notice since the first generation of many family here. At least there are 8 families that or 8 house for 5 family, for 5 big family. So if you can see the area study is covered Kelurahan Lawian, Kelurahan Sondakan, and Kelurahan Bumi. So this is about the rumah keluarga Cokro Sumarto or the Cokro Sumarto families. Yeah, the Cokro Sumarto family have many heritage house, because the family is actually start from one, and then they have children. They make houses for their children, and it's become a cluster here, the house cluster for the Cokro Sumarto family. Yeah, I observe the building that is the main house, and there is the additional house. The additional house usually for used for batik batik production. They call it pabrik gitu. So if you can see that the pabrik is actually have wide yard, inner courtyard, and surrounded by gandok or additional house. And the batik production is is done around on the additional house, and they use the field or the yard for drying the batik clothes. So the development of the house is actually start from the traditional house, but the Chokro Sumarto house is also have the traditional on the vernacular house that the material is from timber frame, but they already changed their on the outer wall by brick wall, and this is a lot of structure here, and also how they make opening from the wall. We can see this is they use arches, or they don't use they had not used we call beton bertulang or concrete, concrete framed. So they use like arches for make hole or for make opening. But after there was a technology in concrete, in concrete framed. They can opening by using post and beam by concrete material. So actually, in this case, the concern with the inconveniences. They use they always use natural ventilation and also light, to make the house is comfort. So this is about modern house in Laweyan that actually they still maintain the room arrangement, but they already make the main house is complex, composed in a complex roof. So if we come back to the traditional house, it's only the simple form. But now they make a complex form, and this house is become bigger. It's much bigger. So they also found the upstairs for making batik dried by using wind breeze. Now let's move to the another family. This is keluarga Puspo Sumarto, we can see that the first house is in another part. So this is the first house on the, and then they move to the another place to make another houses. So and here it's a limited site so they can expand their house to the surrounding. So they move to another place and make another house for the parent, and then from their for their children after the marriage. They would be made house by for the new family, but they are still have interaction in the year. They can they have many what we call doors or entrance across the houses, so their children can still play and move from one house to another house. So that is why even though their house is covered by wall like this, they still have many opening from their wall to make interaction between the whole family. So this is the characteristic of the Laoian modern house, that actually the configuration of the room is similar to the Japanese traditional house, but they change the building, become bigger, and use a modern material. So let's to another family. Rumah keluarga Harjo di Koro is in Kelurahan Sondakan, ya. So in here we can see many house style from the timber frame. Yes, the original house. This is for public, but before they use this structure for the main house. Now, after they have money and they wanted to build their house become modern, and they use the timber frame here to the public. That has become the additional house. So, but here they did not membongkar or change their house, yeah, but they still maintain their house, but they make new house in the next of the house. So in this Rumah Keluarga Harjo di Koro, we can see the history of the development of the house from the first before the 20th century and the beginning of the 20th century, and the last in the middle of the 20th century. So this is quite interesting, and we can learn a lot from the development of the Javanese house in this heritage family house. So we can see the structure, the material, the style, that it can talk about the story of the building and the family. So this quite interesting, and we can learn how they make loteng on the upstairs floor, yeah, for making a house. They combine the post a brick, yeah, the column, and combined with the timber frame, so they can have a lot of room upstairs. They use it for drying the batik clothes with breeze wind, so they can expose the batik clothes directly to the sun, because they can damage the color of the batik. So they already we call it resist, or make the clothes drying without the sun directly dry them. So there is a lot of more form, opening, and also structure here. This is also still use the timber structure, and we come to the modern, to the more recently built, that is built in 1950 or 1940. So actually, this configuration also already same with the Japanese house. This is the main house and the additional house, and the house are now used for hotel. They use they develop the public, the additional house as a hotel room. So now they use they change the function of the house, not for batik production, but for hotel. Let's go to the now the family. This is the rumah keluarga Priyomarsono. Yeah, they have first house and the second house. From the first house is here. Yeah, this quite big house and a lot of structure here. Start from the traditional, from the timber frame, and then you can see that is still the the traditional house, but they changed the wall by a brick wall. But in here they still make a lot of opening, hole, windows, and ventilation. You can see the ceiling is there are a lot of hole here to make the room or the interior is comfortable. So the airflow is already maintained here, like the traditional structure. So yeah, the keluarga Priyomarsono built their main house and changed the traditional house become modern, and they use the old house, the material of the old house is as a public, yeah, or additional house. So the modern house is built, become modern and bigger, and they use the new style, new roof form. Yeah, the traditional form is like the joglo or the kampong, but the new form is the limasan. So the limasan, the modern limasan is combined. So not just a single form, but they combine several form become one. So they make this make the house is much bigger. We can see this the structure is become bigger, and they proud the house is anggun and megah. So let's move to the another family. So it's quite simple also, that they come from original or traditional house. Yeah, the main house consists of pendopo, dalam, yeah, the gandok, and the public. So they extend their house, yeah, follow the shape of the land, yeah, of the site. So they can they move to the back, but the site is have a street, yeah, on the street is surround the house. So they can there are many access, many entrance here. So but the main house is as the priority, and they make the main house is as good as possible. So they use the style, the modern style, and they change. Then the material is become modern. Yeah. Yeah. So we come to the next discussion. This we talk many heritage family house in Lawian that we can see there are transformation of the house form. Yeah, from the before the 20th century, they still use timber frame, but in the beginning of the 20th century, they all changed their house, use the brick. They use they make opening, they make upstairs, and the last is in the middle of the 20th century, and they build their house is more modern. They use the quality of the material. They find the material from local and import. So because the Lawian family is very rich, they can afford building material from the overseas. So we can see the change on the transformation, the ground floor, and they raise the floor. So from the main house, the floor is quite higher, and it's about 60 to 80 centimeters. And the frame, the structure is, we can see from the timber structure, the combination of brick and timber and the concrete structure. We can see that in the upper stair, the loteng is it have opening using arches, yeah, or form like this.
Untung, I'm sorry. I think we still have 5 minutes more.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Guru.
You can request, and then we are going to be having a discussion.
Yeah. Okay, let's quickly. I show you the changes of the room. You see this is the first house in Lawian. They changed the wall, but they try to make the house is much bigger, and and the first they just use the hole here, the small hole, but and the next they make more hole, more openings and ventilation. So after they change the wall by brick wall, this problem how they make their house is comfortable. So it is the generation of the Lawian is maybe they make their house is doing by trial and error. So but they learn about how the process to make their house is it's like the traditional house. Yeah. So here the development, how they can how they make their house is much comfortable. There are ventilation hole in here. Here you can see the plafond, the ceiling is, there are a lot of hole here. So the breeze is can still pass through the ceiling. So this is the conclusion about the transformation, the changes of form in Lawian house. So we can use the same plan here, and we can compare how if we use the traditional structure, traditional form, the let's say the joglo and the additional here, it's like here small, but in the middle, in the beginning of the century, and they use the second model. They use duplicate or make several roof here. So, but here there's problem with the cut on the yes, and the edge of the house. There's problem with the cut on the talang. So they move to the, or they change their house is like this, the combination. There are intersection composed like masan form, and they become like this. The talang is not horizontally, but the rain can sheet quickly, and the form is we can see this become glorious, become megah. So that's why the Lawian is ideal is to make house as ya semegah mungkin begitu. So it's about the development of the changes about house in Lawian start from the traditional. They expand their house like this, and also the form, yeah, like this. So this the growth of the house is the dimension of the house is bigger and bigger. So and also they make for the first family, and then they change, they move to the another side, but they still relationships. So maybe this is the growth of there are many strategy in how they make their house, or they design their house. So this is a many form we can find in Lawian. So we start from the traditional house here, and in around the before the 18th century. So this is the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century, and now the middle of the 20th century now, and the but it's quite new, this building. So yes, and now we can see that they still think about the vernacularity and the local wisdom. We can see they still use the house, ventilation, cross ventilation, and they use still natural material like bamboo, but they also use combination about the concrete. So this is the new there is recently house built in 1916. So we can see that the generation of Lawian still one ways to make to build their house is like the traditional configuration. And it's still joglo here and the gandok, but maybe they still have the pendopo as a center of orientation or point of view here. So this old material, yeah, they use the public material. They can use the timber frame and use it until the smallest piece applied in the interior. So that is why they applying reused material for permanent house. So, but also they use a new material or technology, but still they respond to the tropical climate. So we come to the conclusion. So the form of modern Javanese housing today, the sort of mature sort of process and gradually process of development according to the needs, abilities in this area. This is traditionally maintain the process of change. If we can see the traditional Javanese houses start from the simple to the complex structure. So yeah, the verticality we can see the characteristic is spontaneous structure, the use of local material, recycled material, flexible for new needs, factory, additional bedroom storage office, harmony with local climate. Yes, and that is still consistent in using Javanese house configuration. Now we can in the beginning I visit the term mamatri. Mamatri is the Javanese old term, means maintaining and developing. So the theory of mamatri can also enrich our knowledge about during modernity, vernacularity, heritage preservation, and so on. So it is very dominant in the family house, and especially as the Javanese or most of our Javanese always have idea to make their houses is permanent and as a monument for the generation, so they can still remember. So that's why the mamatri is best applied in Lawian. I think that's all my presentation today, Bu Ruli. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Untung. It's really wonderful and nice presentation, ya. Bapak Ibu, so I would like to read about the questions. We already have a lot in the chat room of Zoom, ya. Here's come from Pak Lidi. What is the loteng function after added to houses or in juragan houses, warehouse or gudang or others? So that's coming from Pak Lidi, Pak Untung. And then the second question is from Yudi, magister students from architecture UNS. Apakah development rumah lawen terjadi hanya pada rumah saudagar atau rumah menengah atasnya saja, Pak Untung? Karena memerlukan tambahan lahan di mana masyarakat menengah ke bawah mungkin tidak memiliki lahan seluas yang dimiliki oleh masyarakat menengah ke atas gitu. Jadi bagaimana pembangunan atau perubahan yang terjadi pada rumah tinggal masyarakat menengah ke bawah? Kalau ini pertanyaannya dari DUD. Kemudian pertanyaan ketiga datang dari Dania. Pak Untung, apakah perubahan rumah-rumah tersebut juga turut mengubah lingkungan di sekitarnya? Terima kasih, demikian. Kemudian terakhir ada dari Pak Hari Wahyono. Good morning and thank you for your presentation, Pak Untung. Housing is one of the basic human needs. My question is, the Lawian housing designed based on community relation and also based on people and place relationship in Kampung Lawean. What is your opinion? So maybe you can answer us one by one. Thank you, Pak Untung.
Bu Ruli, for the first question, what can you say again? Can you say it again?
Okay, Pak Untung, are you still there, or is there any technical problem?
Technical problem. Mungkin dengan bahasa Indonesia, apa pertanyaannya yang Lidi?
Itu Pak Untung,
Yeah.
itu kan ada loteng.
Yeah,
nah, lotengnya itu kan dibuat tahun berapa itu? Penambahan itu kan, sebenarnya addition saja. Kan tapi itu apa masuk filosofi? Maksudnya filosofinya apa kalau ada? Kalau tidak ya artinya apa? Hanya sekadar tadi itu yang Pak Untung conclusion-nya tadi bahwasanya itu hanya simple, hanya spontanitas. Begitu Pak Untung. Artinya apakah itu masuk bagian dari heritage atau tidak nanti? Itu maksud saya Pak Untung. Yes.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Lidi ya. Oke, mungkin saya jawab aja dengan bahasa Indonesia agar lebih mudah ya. Ya, sebentar. Mungkin saya perlu share juga ya, sebentar. Sebenarnya untuk loteng itu kan itu bagian dari proses ya, bagian dari proses bagaimana orang Laweyan itu mengembangkan rumahnya itu sebagai tempat berusaha juga ya. Artinya ya sebagai satu proses pemikiran bagaimana orang Laweyan itu membangun rumahnya sesuai dengan kebutuhannya, itu loteng itu merupakan satu inisiatif dan itu untuk mengatasi permasalahan ruang ya. Di samping memang space-nya sangat terbatas di Laweyan itu kan, mereka juga terbatas, tidak bisa mengembangkan kebutuhan akan space untuk produksi batiknya, sehingga loteng ini itu juga sebenarnya bagian dari proses bagaimana rumah Laweyan itu dibangun, dan itu bagian dari heritage menurut saya, karena di situ kita bisa belajar perkembangan teknologi ya, bagaimana orang Jawa itu mengembangkan rumahnya itu dengan tetap mengikuti perkembangan teknologi konstruksi dan material begitu. Nah, saya kira ya itu bagian dari filosofi memetri tadi, atau bagaimana memelihara tapi juga mengembangkan ya. Memeliharanya barangkali memelihara bagaimana proses membangun atau berarsitektur yang harus tetap memperhatikan keadaan iklim tropis begitu. Tapi juga bagaimana mengembangkan rumah itu sebagai tempat tinggal dan tapi juga tempat bekerja. Ya, barangkali ini yang mungkin bisa saya jelaskan ya. Kemudian kaitannya dengan pertanyaan Yudi ya. Iya, memang orang Laweyan itu sebenarnya kan berangkat dari orang biasa ya. Artinya mereka itu sebenarnya berangkat dari nol juga begitu. Jadi sebelum mereka kaya, barangkali mereka dulu juga pekerja. Nah, memang ada juga yang pekerja itu atau yang menengah ke bawah itu juga rumahnya juga tidak berkembang sih gitu ya. Tapi memang ada yang ya misalnya para pekerja ini mereka perajin juga ya, yang membuat stem, membuat ini ya. Mereka mungkin kalau hanya perajin biasanya juga tidak berkembang, dan rumah-rumah mereka juga sebenarnya sangat sederhana ya. Artinya ada juga yang juragan Laweyan itu berangkat dari mereka belajar membuat stem ini, kemudian mereka menjadi pengusaha gitu loh. Setelah menjadi pengusaha mereka berhasil, akhirnya mereka membuat rumah yang tadi masuk ke kelompok menengah ke atas nih. Jadi ini gambaran bagaimana menengah ke bawah itu ya, lingkungan. Memang ini ada dua area ya. Kalau Laweyan itu yang memang umumnya juragannya, kemudian ada daerah Sondakan itu di Kampung Permulung, itu sebenarnya kan kampung pekerja. Ini umumnya rumah-rumahnya ya biasa-biasa saja. Mungkin paling banter mereka hanya mengganti dinding tembok rumahnya itu dengan bentuk yang tetap rumah Jawa sederhana ya, rumah Jawa sederhana begitu. Sehingga untuk juragan yang tadi menengah ke atas itu memang mereka tinggal di rumah-rumah berdinding tembok berpagar tembok tinggi yang di Kampung Laweyan, dan juga sebenarnya mereka berkembang ke kampung di Sondakan dan Bumi ya. Itu banyak contoh-contoh rumah juragan ya, atau yang termasuk ke kelas menengah atas tadi. Tapi juga biasanya juga campur juga ya, tidak mengelompok, tapi mungkin ada juga yang di Sondakan itu yang menengah ke atas, tapi juga ada yang menengah ke bawah, itu berdampingan ya. Begitu ya Yudi. Kemudian Dania, memang dalam pengembangan rumah di Laweyan ini jelas sekali mengubah lingkungan ya. Jadi lingkungan rumah di Laweyan itu ya otomatis akan tadinya itu mungkin ya dulu itu kan masih bisa kita lihat situasinya ya, situasi yang terbuka begini ya, antar tetangga itu terlihat gitu ya. Tapi setelah orang Laweyan ini membangun rumahnya itu dengan dengan masif begitu, akhirnya kan jadi tertutup gitu ya. Tetapi sebenarnya itu karena kondisi saja ya, kondisi kenapa mereka membangun rumahnya itu dengan tembok-tembok tinggi ya. Misalnya ini ya, ini sebenarnya kan dikelilingi tembok tinggi ya. Tapi sebenarnya juga karena memang secara efisien, mereka menggunakan lahan itu seefisien mungkin. Sehingga bagian, sebentar saya tunjukkan ya. Ya, bangunan tinggi di Laweyan itu kan karena bagian pinggir itu kan dibikin 2 lantai ya. 2 lantai itu untuk yang atas itu untuk loteng tadi. Itu sehingga itu sebenarnya ya mungkin karena kondisi saja sehingga seolah-olah itu mereka itu membuat rumahnya itu dengan tembok berkeliling tinggi ini. Padahal sebenarnya mereka itu menggunakan bangunan yang tambahan tadi, gandok atau yang pabrik tadi itu dibuat efisiensi ruang ya, sehingga dibuat bertingkat gitu. Sehingga dari luar itu kan seolah-olah bangunannya itu dikelilingi tembok yang tinggi itu ya. Nah, itu memang secara secara fisik itu akan merubah lingkungannya ya. Tapi sebenarnya mungkin secara fisik merubah lingkungan, tapi secara sosial itu sebenarnya mereka itu masih bisa berinteraksi ya. Mereka punya banyak pintu butulan ya, itu mereka bisa antar tetangga itu tetap bisa berkomunikasi. Memang untuk menjaga keamanan dari orang luar itu mereka membuat dinding-dinding tinggi, tapi ada mungkin ini gambarnya belum jelas ya. Tapi di sini sebenarnya banyak pintu-pintu butulan itu sehingga mereka secara sosial itu masih tetap bisa berinteraksi. Begitu ya, Dania. Saya kira ini kaitannya dengan merubah lingkungan ya. Memang di kota itu mau tidak mau memang kita harus mungkin ya merubah, membuat ya yang alami tadi itu mungkin menjadi lebih banyak bangunan yang kita buat, banyak elemen yang kita secara fisik barangkali ada dinding-dinding, ada batas, ada pagar, ada tembok-tembok, tapi mungkin itu bisa diatasi untuk interaksi dengan pintu-pintu tembus ya, pintu-pintu untuk saling berinteraksi, juga lubang-lubang ventilasi itu untuk tetap bisa memasukkan cahaya dan hembusan angin itu dengan baik begitu. Nah, inilah yang mungkin secara fisik berubah, tapi secara kenyamanan juga mungkin hubungan ya sosial itu tetap terjaga. Itu kira-kira ya, dan ya kemudian Pak Hari Wahyana ya, terima kasih. Memang ya Laweyan ini memang satu komunitas yang cukup cukup unik, dan mereka punya ya memang berangkat dari beberapa keluarga juga ya, tetapi karena mereka adalah sama-sama pengusaha dan punya karakter yang sama ya untuk membangun komunitas kebersamaan gitu ya di dalam berkehidupan, baik kehidupan dalam berkeluarga ya, menjaga keberlangsungan keluarga besar mereka, tapi juga mereka punya komunitas untuk tetap bisa mengembangkan ya kampung Laweyan ini tetap survive ya. Mungkin untuk kondisi saat ini memang banyak usaha untuk mengembangkan, karena batik mungkin juga produksi batik mungkin juga tidak seperti dulu. Itu banyak rumah-rumah yang dulu untuk produksi batik itu dialihfungsikan ya untuk fungsi-fungsi yang masih relevan untuk saat ini gitu ya. Tetapi tadi komitmen untuk mempertahankan bagaimana rumah-rumah mereka itu tetap terjaga ya. Kalau rumahnya itu sudah permanen itu mungkin mereka tidak akan membongkar gitu. Tapi kalau yang masih temporary yang masih bangun dari kayu yang kemungkinan masih bisa diperbaiki gitu, mereka akan punya peluang untuk merubah. Atau kalau mereka membuat rumah sendiri itu memang tetap mereka akan membuat sesuai dengan gaya saat mereka membangun gitu. Setiap generasi itu punya keinginan sendiri-sendiri sehingga dalam perjalanan perkembangan rumah di Lawian ini memang macam-macam itu modelnya itu, dan itu jadi kita banyak belajar ya dari apa yang sudah terjadi di Lawian ini katanya dengan arsitektur ya, baik dari tradisional sampai ke modern itu bagaimana kita mentransformasikan rumah atau bentuk ya. Artinya dalam pengembangan bentuk rumah Jawa itu memang tidak terpaku pada bentuk-bentuk tradisional ya, bentuk joglo itu mereka sangat terbuka kaitannya dengan pengaruh dari luar yang modern yang ini, tapi tetap ada hal-hal yang mereka tetap pertahankan, yaitu bagaimana rumah itu berfungsi untuk kegiatan berkeluarga dan juga berusaha gitu, karena karakteristik orang Lawian ini memang pengusaha begitu, sehingga mereka akan memberdayakan rumah-rumah yang ada saat ini itu untuk bisa tetap survive gitu, dan rumah ini menjadi monumen keluarga yang setiap orang Lawian itu bisa masih bisa dikenang lah gitu ya, hasil karyanya itu. Makanya banyak rumah-rumah Lawian itu yang punya nama, inisial tahun, inisial nama, tahun dan seterusnya itu karena memang idealisme orang Lawian itu bagaimana rumah itu bisa awet itu ya, bisa turun-temurun begitu. Nah, itu barangkali yang bisa saya jelaskan Pak Hari Wahyono. Begitu Bu Ruli.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Untung atas pertanyaannya, atas jawabannya yang luar biasa detailnya. Tepatlah sudah jam 10, 2 jam kami membersamai Bapak Ibu dalam kegiatan International Webinar ini. Berharap apa yang menjadi materi dari kedua pembicara bisa memberikan insight yang lebih atau wawasan yang lebih kepada Bapak Ibu semua. Mungkin sedikit conclusion dari saya dari dua pembicara di awal, bahwa people place relationship study case ini menjadi sangat penting bagi kita sebagai seorang arsitek atau urban designer untuk memikirkan apa yang terjadi ke depannya atau mempunyai insight creativity berkaitan dengan kontekstual. Jadi kontekstual, kalau tadi Prof. Ismail mengatakan bahwa banyak children's space teori itu berasal dari luar, maka sudah saatnya kita balik kepada teori Asia gitu ya. Termasuk juga hal ini secara lebih detail lagi dijelaskan oleh pembicara kedua, Pak Untung, untuk keluar dengan konsep kata memetri untuk budaya Jawa ketika benar-benar berpikir secara kontekstual people place relationship. Jadi memetri ini menjadi suatu hal yang basic bahwa ternyata tidak hanya difikirkan bagaimana mengkonservasi atau mempreservasi apa yang sudah ada, tapi juga menerima hal-hal baru gitu ya secara luas untuk berproses transformasi pada rumah Jawa. Jadi tidak hanya berpikir pada konteks filosofi makna Jawanya saja, tapi kemudian bisa menerima culture baru atau kebutuhan baru secara kontekstual. Saya pikir ini menjadi menarik buat kita para researcher dan para student untuk bisa lebih menggali potensi tersebut. Sebelum kita berpisah, bolehkah dibuka semuanya video cam-nya, karena kita akan melakukan family pictures. Para Bapak Ibu semua, mohon izin untuk bisa dibuka kamera cam-nya. Ada Bu Andra Rita Rolaldisasi. Halo Ibu, selamat pagi, apa kabar? Terima kasih sudah join di kegiatan kami. Kemudian adik-adik students yang lainnya. Bu Afi, dibantu ya Bu Afi untuk dokumentasi.
Siap.
Siap. Ya.
Monggo, sudah? 1, 2, 3. Oke, kita tunggu dulu ya, belum? Oke, silahkan dinyalakan, di-on-kan dulu videonya.
Ya.
Oke, yuk. Sudah? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Lanjut. 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Terima kasih Bu
Satu,
Afi.
sekali lagi Bu, masih ada satu Bu. Satu,
Sekali lagi.
2, 3. Ya, sudah.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu buat silaturahminya, teman-teman kolega kami dari luar, dan terima kasih mahasiswa yang bisa intens ikut sampai akhir kegiatan. Berharap ini menjadi sesuatu, dan kami akan mengirimkan materinya melalui alamat email Anda yang sudah mengisi daftar hadir bersama sertifikatnya. Berharap di semester depan kita dapat berjumpa lagi ya Pak Hari, kemudian ada Bu Diana, Bu Nunu, Pak Yosafan, Bu Ari gitu. Kita berjumpa di kegiatan berikutnya di semester depan. Kami akhiri dengan ucapan alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih sekali.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima
Sehat
kasih Bu
selalu.
Rumi semuanya. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Monggo.
Tetap
Terima
semangat,
kasih, Mas
tetap
Widi,
sehat.
Bu Diana, Bu Ari, ya semuanya. Terima kasih Bu Afi.
Makasih
Terima
Pak
kasih,
Hari,
Bu
Mak
Ruli.
Untung.
Ya.
Nuwun semuanya. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Pak Untung.
Makasih semuanya. Pak Ari, makasih. Ya. Bu Nunu,
Pak Untung,
Terima kasih adik-adik mahasiswa semua.